Hey guys! So, for today's video, I'm going to be doing the Try a Chapter tag, which is probably my favorite tag. I feel like I do it almost every month, so I hope you guys enjoy these videos. I love watching Try a Chapter tags. They're like one of my favorite videos to watch. So anyway, I am in a little predicament. It is December 30th. I've already read like 31 books this month. And I'm really in a reading mood, so I really want to read something. But I just finished Six of Crows, which is a reread, which you would think, oh, go ahead and read Crooked Kingdom. But everybody else is like still on like Siege and Storm and Rune and Rising, so I'm like really ahead. So I'm kind of like, I want to read something else in between, you know? Which I am doing a buddy read with a couple of my friends on Twitter. And we're going to be doing Circe by Madeline Miller, but we'll only read a certain amount every day, and so I'd like to have something else going on as well. So I have some books here, and we are going to see which one I want to read. So the first one is The Son of Neptune by Rick Riordan. I actually got the paperback box set of these for Christmas from my dad and family, from my stepmom Tracy and them. So I am so excited to continue on and see what's happening with all the peeps. I think this one's going to be really interesting because this is when Percy is actually shows up and everything. So, and I cannot wait to have some more Leo Valdez in my life. I love him so much. He's like one of my all-time favorite characters now. He is just the greatest, without a doubt. And then the next one is The Valiant by Leslie Livingston, which this is one of the books that I got on my book outlet Black Friday box. And this is basically all about a like a Spartacus inspired kind of woman gladiator kind of a story, which sounds good to me. So, and then the next one is The Invisible Library by Genevieve Cogman, which this, actually, one of my friends on Twitter that I'm doing the buddy read with, she just recently read this, said it was really good. My friend Kristen, who I do the book blog with, has also read this series. She says it's really fucking amazing. So, yeah, basically, I have two people around me that are like, this is really fucking good. So, like, I wanna see. And then the next one I have is actually an arc, but it's already come out, and that is Rule by Ellen Goodlett. This is a book, and it just sounds really interesting. It's basically about these three girls, and they all have different hardships sort of lives, but then they are called to the court by the king, and basically he tells them that that all three of them, they are his last living heirs that he has left, and they basically have to learn to be at court and all the politics and everything, and it just sounds really interesting, and the cover is just stunning. Love that. And then the last one I got is actually just a random book I got at Half Price Books, and that is The Trilogy of Two by Juman Maloff. And this is basically about, it's kind of like a carnival story about these, and it's sort of revolves around these two twins, and that's all I remember when I read the synopsis, but it's gorgeous, and it just caught my eye, and so I'm really excited to just kind of get a taste and see. And then the last one is actually one that is on my Kindle. And I actually just bought these yesterday, and it is the entire Parasol Protected series by Kel Geringer, which I loved her YA series, the and Curtsies. I love that series like a lot, and basically her adult one kind of ties in with that. There are certain characters that are in both series, and so I've been wanting them so bad, and they were on my Christmas wish list. I didn't get them because I ended up getting, like I said, I ended up getting these instead, which I love and I'm excited about. But so I ended up getting them because they were like on super sale on my Kindle. They were like $16, and I'm like, for $5, $16? Oh heck yeah, you best believe. So I'm gonna read the first chapter of the first book, which is Soulless, and yeah, so I'm really excited. So those are the 6 books that I'm gonna be trying out. And I will get back to you guys with my thoughts. I read the first chapter of Soulless by Gail Keller, and it was actually really interesting. And it's basically just introducing us to the characters, and our main character, Alexia, she is trying to get into this, basically to work with these two werewolf guys, and she is what's called a pre-natural, which basically I think it means that she can be a supernatural creature, like, but she hasn't hit it yet or something. It hasn't been explained very much yet, but so basically she's a preternatural, and they're both just like, but why does she want to work? Because she's like of good breeding and everything, and she could basically, like, you know, marry high and have an easy life or whatever. But anyway, so that's basically all the first chapter was kind of just introducing us to these characters and showing us the motivation of our main character. But yeah, it was really interesting. So it's definitely a contender, so we'll see what happens. But I think the next one I'm going to pick up is the Invisible Library. So I will check in with you guys here in a minute. Hey, so I just finished the first chapter of The Invisible Library by Genevieve Cogman, and it was actually pretty good. It's definitely a very action-packed first chapter, and you get very much thrown into just what's happening. And basically our main character is at this boarding school, and she's trying to find this one specific book that she has been tasked by the library, like a capital T library, to find and bring back. And basically she's able to, like, open up the portal to the library once she gets it and bring it back, and it's some kind of necromancer book. Anyway, but she like goes on all these missions all the time to, like, save these books and bring them to the library. And yeah, so it's just a very much introduction first chapter. But I thought it was super interesting, and I'm really curious to see what else is going to happen with this story. So yeah, I love books about libraries and books about books. They're the best. They're a lot of fun. So yeah, I enjoyed it. Anyway, and the next book I'm going to pick up is Rule. So I'm going to read the first chapter of this, and then I'll let you guys know what I think. just finished the first chapter of Roll, which the first chapter introduces us to Sophie, which is one of our main characters. There's 3. And yeah, it's alright. It was just, I'd probably be more into it if I had read all, like, the first 3 chapters, because I'm guessing that it alternates and it probably introduces us to all. But Sophie is interesting. She's very much one of those people that's, like, been brought up, like, as a rebel, and she's been taught to kind of, like, fear the rulers of the world and, that kind of thing. But, yeah, it's alright. Not much to say on this one. It was just okay. But again, interesting. It's got the whole it's got like that political stuff going on, which I really enjoy. So yeah, I think the next one I am going to pick up is Son of Neptune. So that one was probably the quickest one that I've read so far. And it was just so funny. It's classic Percy, and it was just great and fun. And yeah, I just love Rick Riordan. He's awesome. So that was a really good one. So now the next one I'm going to read is going to be The Valiant by Levi Livingston, and then I will get back to you guys. So that escalated very quickly. Wow. So I was reading it and I was like, oh, okay, yeah, and then this thing happened and I'm like, came out of nowhere. It was just, okay. So this is probably not the one that I'll read. At least I'm finally able to cut one out, because I've just been like, oh my god, all these are good. And it's not that this isn't good. I'm sure I'll read it at some point, but like that first chapter was just, like, it just escalated so fucking quickly. It was just really fucking weird. Basically, so she's like out there and she's training with her friend Mal, and it's like, they're throwing their spears, they're doing their chariot things, they're doing, the regular gladiator stuff. I'm like, cool, this is interesting. Anyway, and then he gets mad at her because she does like this really reckless stunt, and he almost ends up like hitting her with a spear or something, and he's really mad about it. He's like, I could have killed you, why would you be so reckless? And basically they're both from different kingdoms, but they send their boys of their kingdom to hers when they're young to like foster them so that they can grow up, the kingdoms will grow up and have good relations, whatever. Anyway, so they've grown up together and stuff, and anyway, he's mad at her and they're having a thing, and then she's like, look, I'm sorry, and she like touches him on the like head or something, and then he just ends up kissing her, and then they just have a full blown out make-out session and everything, and she's like, and now I know that I couldn't live without him. And it's just this whole thing, and then he's like, I'm gonna go ask your father's hand for your hand, and I'm like, that escalated quickly. And And she's like, no, because like that night she was gonna get asked to have the honor of joining the war band, and she's like, I don't want him to take that honor away from me if we ask to be married, so wait a little bit, and da 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 da. And it's just like escalated so quickly. So yeah, that's that one. Like I said, I probably won't be reading this one now, but I'll read it at some point, just not right now, because that was a little too much. So now I am finally on the last one that I'm going to read the first chapter of, and that's going to be The Alright, so I read the first 2 chapters of the Trilogy of Two because the first chapter was only 6 pages long, and all the other ones have been at least 13 pages, so I read the second chapter so I would end on like page 14, which is about the same as the other ones, just to give it the same amount of time that I gave the other ones. And it was actually really interesting. It just starts out with the 2 girls, they're twin sisters, and they are going to perform at the circus, and these weird incidents have been happening lately when they've been performing, and basically they were told, like, don't let anything happen, blah blah blah, but it's like they can't help it. And so they go on and they're doing their music or whatever, and in the middle of it, the audience members, they start, like, their chairs start floating and everything, and it's like really creepy. And anyway, they get fired because it's like bad for business, because everybody was like running, screaming at the end of it. Okay, so I think I've decided, and I think I'm actually gonna read the Trilogy of Two, because if I'm being honest, this is the one that captured my attention the most, and I'm really curious about what's going on with these girls and everything, and it seems like it's gonna be a super quick read. The font is super big, and it just flies by, it seems, so I think this is gonna be what I go with. And then I think after this one, I'm gonna go ahead and pick up Soulless by Gail Carriger, because that's the next one that really seemed to intrigue me the most. But I am really excited about all these books. They're all very good. And yeah, so that was my try chapter. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.